Some breaking news for you now. The judge overseeing Donald Trump's election conspiracy case has largely sided with the defense team over the scope of materials covered in the protective order.
So the prosecution filed a request for a protective order seeking to prevent the former president from speaking publicly about material related to the case. CBS News legal contributor Jessica Levinson joins us now to explain the decision. So, Jessica, what does the judge's decision mean for Trump?
So it looks like what this means is that he will be able to discuss more about the case, more of the discovery material that he is given from the government publicly when he's campaigning, when he's giving rallies. I think we need to be careful, though, that this entire case was not protective order or no protective order, as you said just moments ago. It's about the scope of the protective order. And I think if you really follow along with what's happening in the hearing, what the judge is saying here is, I understand the need for a protective order. That is typical in cases like this. But government, I think you just went a little too broad. So what they're talking about now is exactly who can see materials, whether or not the former president can just see evidence from the government or actually take possession of it, and what qualifies as sensitive information that cannot be disclosed to the public. My guess is at the end of the day, when we look at the scope of the protective order, it will look somewhere in the middle of what both sides want. The prosecution initially asked for something that I think can be fairly viewed as broad. The defense said narrower, and I think at the end of the day, nobody will be exactly happy.
Yeah, because as I understand it, the government has considered sort of the vast majority of the evidence to be sensitive. So there might actually not be much that he could talk about anyway.
That's right. So I think that's exactly right. I mean, if the judge in the end says just sensitive information, as you know, I mean, the devil is always in the definitional details. So what qualifies as sensitive? If it turns out that the judge says only sensitive information, and then the government says, well, that's virtually everything, then of course it looks like a win initially for the defense because it's a narrowing. But in the end, what the prosecution is saying is, yeah, but there's a huge amount of, again, discovery material. We're talking about material that the former president and his legal team get from the government that he's not allowed to talk about. And of course, all of this stemmed from the former president posting on social media saying, if you come after me, I'm coming after you. And that shows one of the potential needs for protective order. It's to prevent a taint of the jury pool and to protect witnesses. And then there's this broad kind of protect the fair administration of justice. And the judge is weighing all of those factors.
Trump has attacked this judge, right? Said she was unqualified, all kinds of stuff. So for him to get a bit of a win, I just found kind of interesting. Like, oh, she's cut you some slack, Mr. Former President.
So I don't know, again, how big of a win this is. I think there will be other motions as we move along in this case that will be bigger. But I think what it shows here is that she is not looking at how does this affect me and my safety. She's looking at the typical factors we always look at for a protective order, the potential discovery material, and she's trying to do justice here.
And so now what they're sort of discussing, as you pointed out, is who has access to this material, who can see the material. And as I understand it, the defense wants sort of a larger group of people to be able to peruse the material than obviously the prosecution wants.
That's right. And I think this discussion is obviously different from the discussion we might have in the Mar-a-Lago case, where in that case, there's not just sensitive information, but we're talking about classified information. And in fact, the attorneys have to get clearance in order to look at some of the material. This is a similar question, but dealing with documents that, again, don't raise questions of military preparedness, so to speak. So this will be, again, a similar conversation, but in a way, a much easier one, because we're not talking about people having to get security clearance to look at information. And again, the defense wants basically a lot of people to be able to look at the documents and for them to be able to discuss the material in the documents. The prosecution has said in filings, no, because don't try this case in the court of public opinion. Wait, don't intimidate witnesses, don't intimidate the judge, and wait until we can try this case to a jury, not to a broader audience.
Last question. Talk to us about the trial start date. What's the back and forth on that as of now?
I think this is a huge issue, and we know that the former president, in all legal cases, but especially now that he is a current candidate, wants these cases pushed out, because the longer it takes to go to trial, I think the better it is for him. So legally, his defense is now a political one, which is looking at the electoral calendar and trying to wait until he, I think, hopes he is the nominee and maybe even looks like he's in striking distance of being elected the president again. That creates political and some legal complications. The prosecution says speedy trial. You heard special counsel Jack Smith say in that press conference last week, speedy trial. They want this done quickly.
You got to wonder if he picked January 2nd, the prosecution, in anticipation of all the delays that are likely to come up, because it's not just has to do with politics. This is the strategy that we've seen Donald Trump employ over and over and over again, delay, delay, delay. So we can expect that. I mean, if I'm putting money on it, Jessica, I expect that date to move along a little bit, to shift a little bit.
I think we're putting money on the same guess. Yes, it's not holding. We're not talking about this in the beginning of the new year.
Right. Jessica Levinson, great talking to you. Thank you.
Thank you.